Welcome back to the Professional Lovers Channel. I'm Al.
And I'm Patty, and we are the Professional Lovers back for another season of Married at First Sight, Season 12. We appreciate all of you who subscribed to the channel through the last season and watched, and hopefully have been waiting to get our first official recap. We're a day late, mainly because Alton had to work late last night and got in too late to watch a 3-hour show. Even though with DVR it's not 3 hours, but still too late to watch and then to tape and then to... So yeah, anyway, but we're here.
Yes,
and
we are. Yes,
we're happy to get started once again. You know that we've been married 27 years. If you're a subscriber, if you're new, we have been married 27 years, and we have been blessed to be able to facilitate relationships with married couples and couples preparing to get married. And so if you are interested in having the best relationship that you can, then we think you're in the right place.
Yes.
Not because we're necessarily experts, but because we are experts in our experience. And so we're using Married at First Sight just to highlight relationship issues that are common in relationships.
In everyday life, and between two individuals who at least like spending time with each other.
So that's what you're going to get here. So let's just jump right in.
Nice.
Last night's episode was all of the preparation to the marriage, to the wedding day. Right. Yes. All the preparation.
The day.
So telling the family and friends and getting their reactions and each group, the women meeting each other, the men meeting each other, and the interesting conversations that ensued at those get-togethers. Shopping for their clothes, and it brings back a lot of memories.
True, it does. It definitely does.
But yeah, so let's just kind of jump in.
Let's jump.
Anything that just, off the bat stood out to you?
Well, I think this is a very objective group. They're honest about their feelings. I think they're a lot more open with one another, at least
the women definitely were.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like normal?
I don't know. I'm not in the women's group.
What I'm saying is, the stereotypical women talk a lot and get into more detail, and guys kind of don't.
Not necessarily. I guess it depends on the personality of the guys, the group. I mean, because guys do talk. And I think it depends on the level of intensity of the relationship with the guys that you're with to be open and vulnerable and share your feelings and your thoughts. And, with these guys, they're strangers. They're as much strangers. Matter of fact, they know each other more than they do their to-be spouse.
Right.
So it's kind of like I don't want to call it a cat and mouse game, but it's probing. It's probing. How does each other feel about this?
Well, Chris was definitely probing to a point that they were kind of like, wow, he asked a lot of questions.
Exactly. Is he a spy?
But but he's kind of the life of the party.
Well, he's accustomed to that, I guess.
But yeah, the girls were, I think, even more open, especially about sex, than I think we're used to hearing. And Paige surprised me. I think she surprised everybody. Because, you think back to how Chris described his perfect woman as being a freak. And what Clara said, that she's the freak of the season.
The God-fearing woman.
The God-fearing woman who's the freak of the season.
And it's not to say that you can't be, believe me. It's just no slight to anyone.
It's just interesting that she used that term after we heard Chris say that he wanted his wife to be a freak. So
he may get his wish.
you know, she's very confident and she's very you know, open about you know what she likes and what she doesn't like, and
what she wants to be for her husband.
And again, here's another, you know, another term that Chris used was he wanted a wife who was submissive.
Oops.
And the women talked about that. Claire called them all kind of alpha females, and it appears to be that they are all very strong,
strong-willed,
yes, and opinionated, and all of that.
Well, you would have to be to take a venture like this. I mean, you're not gonna jump into this and not be adventurous. I mean, you know.
Yeah, this is kind of the epitome of adventurous.
Yeah.
But Paige said, you know, I do want to be submissive. And I do, you know, although, I have not been that.
Right. She distinctly said that she is not submissive.
She has not been that, but
she's interested in the wife. She wants a man that will take control and be the leader of her household. You know.
So it'll be interesting to see how compatible Paige and Chris turn out to be. Yeah. Although he still works my nerves a little bit, but that's just me. And it may turn out that, you know, they're a surprise, just like, you know,
I hope so.
Couples in the past have been surprised. Of course, we want everybody to end up, you know, being compatible and enjoying who they're with, but you know, certain characteristics kind of become glaring.
They become questionable.
Yeah, like I became more questionable in the match of Virginia and Eric. Yeah. I've said before that her being a party girl and liking to hang out and drink and all that just didn't seem to fit with him. And tonight, well, now you guys, I'm going to keep saying tonight because we just watched it tonight. But last night, that difference seemed to be even more glaring. Yeah, more glaring. Because, you know, okay, now I'm older, so I don't have a 20-something mentality anymore, but you know, the whole drinking and throwing up and getting sick and all that. To me, that was just a little excess. And for her to say, you know, if he doesn't drink, that's going to be a problem. Only to discover
that she can't drink either.
Well, but he isn't a drinker.
Right. Well, he's not a...
And on his end, he's saying, I hope that's not how she is. I hope that's not, you know, she's not doing anything, you know, crazy. And then on her end, yeah, she is.
She's doing something crazy.
She's in the bathroom throwing up.
And then I wonder if that night, you know, the night before the wedding, girls out, you know, bachelorette party and whatnot, it was even more so just nervous energy and not realizing that, you know, she's just going too far with the moment, you know.
Yeah.
I don't believe that people, well, there may be a couple. There may be a small percentage, but people don't drink to be drunk. They drink to drink and eventually get drunk when they don't know how to stop.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't have a stopping point, then, you know, you open yourself up to,
true,
you know, crossing the line.
Yeah, the consequences.
And a remark that Virginia made that, you know, I'm not ready to settle down. I don't know what that actually means to her. I don't know what that looks like to her. But to hear that when you're getting ready to get married is a little disconcerting. Yeah. You know, we realize that what we hear on television, and let me say this for some of our subscribers who are concerned about the fact that this is a reality show that's not real reality, as in there's production, there's editing and all of that. You know, we realize that when people say things, and even with Chris, when you say things and you use words, you may not always know how they're perceiving those words impact. What they see that meaning, right? For instance, the settling down. Now, to me, settling down means that you've gotten all your, a lot of your partying and your wilding out of your system.
Yeah.
And you understand that now you're
focused on
creating this new
lifestyle with someone.
And not to say that you can't go out and party, but you're going out to party with your husband. Yeah. It kind of does not be, it decreases in the focus, right? And, as you get a little older, and maybe that's what it is for her, then you realize that, there are other ways to have fun than just, going out and drinking.
Yeah. I mean, you create memories. You don't do events that you hope to soon forget.
No, that you will forget because...
Well, when I'm saying that you hope to soon forget because of how you may have behaved. Oh,
yeah. Or the events that you engaged in that you don't remember.
You remember? Yeah.
I'm just saying. So anyway, so, we're going off of what we hear. And, time will tell as the show unfolds as to, what they have meant behind the things that they have said.
True.
But yeah, I'm a little nervous for Eric and Virginia at this moment.
Yeah, and then there is that age disparity. I mean, it's 8 years, but
that's a lot when you're...
Well, again, he's lived a little bit. He's been
right, and he's been married.
He's established his career,
right?
So there's a certain level or time span in life that you become secured. Whether you call it settled down or what have you, but he's a little bit more secure in where he's at than she is where she's at.
And hopefully he'll show her that, settling down with him will be a great thing.
Yeah. Well, just, trying not to say the word discipline, but yeah.
Let's see. Anybody else stand out here? Clara is she's really in your face. She's got a lot of energy and she's really in your face.
But fortunately, she's not annoying in your face. I mean, at least to me, I don't find her annoying, but she is, she's on. When the switch is on, the switch is on.
When it was after Ryan sent her that letter?
Oh, man.
Oh, it rattled her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she got self-conscious and this isn't right and that's not right and I wouldn't have planned it this way. It was almost like the intensity of his letter to her made her question herself.
I think it's a combination. I think she was gearing up for that time because she said, even prior to that, she said at one point in time that she didn't feel like she was on a ride and couldn't get off. Mm-hmm. She said, when I put that dress on, that's when I'll feel that way. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned that. And I think that was all, it was just kind of like overwhelming with not only her putting on the dress and anticipating that moment, but when he had found a creative way of expressing who he was. And
which I think she had never experienced before. But if that was a major switch that just flipped. No. Before that, she was giddy and everything is, great and this is a great day, this is my wedding. And after she read that letter and got that playlist, that switch flipped and all of a sudden, like I said, it was like, everything is wrong with me. He may not like me.
Well, because
he may not.
This is something that she never had before. I mean, what she was getting was what she was giving. And now she was getting it from someone else. And that just totally threw her for a loop. It
unnerved her.
Yeah.
And
but I think it was a good unnerving. I really do.
I hope so. Because her mom was looking at her like, what's wrong with you? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden. you're complaining about the dress, and you're complaining about how the wedding is put together, and you're complaining about your hair, and you're complaining about everything. And all of a sudden, it was just like nothing is good.
Yeah, after all of these people thinking that you crazy anyway for doing this.
Yeah, that was very interesting. And I don't know how I feel about the blindfold. I mean, I understand, kind of what he was going for, I guess.
Well, I think a shared moment. I mean, because again, as he said, sometimes, well, the day is unnerving anyway. And then to actually walk down an aisle and look at somebody for however long it takes you to get down that aisle.
You're looking at each other.
Yeah, but
because they made it sound like, okay, with the blindfolds on, we'll be able to see each other at the same time. Well, when you turn that corner and start walking out there down the aisle, you're looking at each other at the same time.
Yeah, but your mind is racing. I mean, you ever look at somebody and see somebody and just kind of formulate a thought about how that person may be?
Yeah.
And that you have that whole time, which almost may seem like a lifetime, however many steps it is from the first time you see each other to getting in front of each other, and then you hear each other's voices, but so many other thoughts have gone through your mind up until that point, where I think right then it's instantaneous. They had their significant friend or
their
relative,
maid of honor and best man, whatever,
take part in the ceremony.
Yeah.
And
it was different.
Shared. Yeah.
It was different. I don't know if I would have wanted to do that.
No,
because the whole thing is crazy enough.
But actually, I think it was a unique sensation to actually touch a person before you get to see the person. Now, I can imagine me being a tactile individual.
Very touchy-feely. I
would probably have rubbed her hands raw.
Yeah.
Well, not raw, but I mean, I would have just massaged and I would have done what I do.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how that would have felt to the other individual, but it would have been my attempt in expressing through touch that I'm a gentle individual. I mean, they would notice that I have pretty big hands, but I'm not, overwhelming them or hurting them or, feeling.
Well, Ryan's got that sensitive, sentimental.
Yeah, I think he's
guy
a very
going.
Sentimental individual.
So, hopefully, of course, next week we'll see the reactions when they take their blindfolds off, and hopefully that will calm her down. That will calm her down. Okay, what else? Let's see. Brianna, I'll get back to that. Brianna made an interesting assessment of her, of why her relationships have seemed to fail. And that was, she said, she always tended to go for the physical first and compatibility second, which is not really uncommon. I mean, the first impression that we have of someone is their physicality.
Yeah, the physical attraction.
Yeah, and but if that becomes the focus rather than the first impression or an element of the relationship, then you're kind of possibly setting yourself up for things that go right, because the physical attraction does not really have anything to do with the character.
True.
And the compatibility. I'm sure that you've encountered many, nice looking
knuckleheads,
women and men who didn't have very much past that.
True.
And so, it's always nice when you can get the full package. Like I did.
As we normally say. Get out of my head.
Anyway, but I found that interesting. And so for her, this is definitely a real step outside of her norm to not know what the person looks like.
Exactly.
And to go on compatibility alone, which is what the experts do. They match you up based on compatibility factors, although it's all on paper, and you hope that it translates into the actual interaction. But so this is way out of her norm, which is a good thing.
Actually, it kind of just ran through my mind. If you really look at the matchings that they've done, everything is contrast. This is a contrast pairing of season 12. I mean,
You think for everybody?
I think pretty much for everybody.
Okay.
You know, someone. Well, initially we looked at, let's say, what's his name, Paige and Chris. Initially, it was like they would. It almost seemed like they would be oil and water, but then there were certain things that we kind of now see that okay, there's some similarities there, but we thought from the beginning, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But she's like moving toward all the things that he wanted, and you know, everybody there's a certain contrast, you know, in the pairing, and somehow the expert thinks that they're suited for each other.
Yeah, well, they thought that for all of the couples.
But I didn't think that there was certain distinct contrast between the individuals, whether it be age, whether it be somewhat of a look, or even, you know, ethnicity, you know. Because Brianna and Vincent's Hispanic. Brianna's chocolate.
Yeah.
You know, and that is just different. I mean, nothing wrong with it, you know. But again, I'm just thinking of contrast. There's certain contrasts, and then there's age differences, and you know. So I'm just looking at this as a contrast season. So
well, we will see where all those contrasts lead to.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I'm going to go out on is, what do you think about the doll?
I think it was silly, but I think that was a safety net for him.
Yeah, and at first, you know, I was like, at first I was like, okay, really? But when he said, you know, I'd rather the doll to stay away from the strippers that are right in my face, and knowing that he has a sex thing anyway, like, you know, when Chris, we're talking about, went to talk to his pastor, and this is the first time he actually really addressed his engagement, and it being kind of close to the time that he got paired, and and what that means, and you know, his pastor asked him about the love versus lust. So, you know, and because he talks about it all the time, then, you know, he's got that, he's got a thing for that. Yeah. So the doll, I do see that doll being kind of a safety net. Low freaked the other guys out. Yeah. But, you know, at least he was like, yeah, I could stay away from the strippers, you know, the dancers, and just, you know, deal with the doll. So, we'll see how often that doll comes out in the coming weeks.
Okay.
Well,
lose that thought.
Anyway, I think that's about it, huh?
And just everything leading up to anticipation.
So next week we see all the weddings go through, and families meeting family, and, you know, friends meeting friends, and them starting to talk with each other and get to know each other. So we're in for another ride, and we hope that you will be here with us as we recap every week what we see, and as we talk about issues, and soon we'll break out our book. So anyway, we hope that you enjoyed our recap tonight, and we look forward to seeing you. Like us, leave responses. You know, we always enjoy your feedback.
Definitely.
And we look forward to responding to your feedback and having our discussion. And until next week, everybody stay safe.
Please
Stay
conscious.
safe. And stay healthy. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Enjoy.